After moving in with my mom's best friend, not only did I have to endure the daily visual assault of her yoga pants, I also had to constantly guard against her sudden flirtatious tests. Even the beautiful middle-aged moms around her seemed to have designs on me. It all started because my mom, afraid I'd mess around in college and make her a grandmother too soon, entrusted me to her best friend, Xing Yishan. Auntie Xing was beautiful, kind-hearted, and had a great figure. Her only flaw was that she always treated me like a child, never censoring herself around me. The first thing she did every morning was practice yoga, and even though she was in the vintage Bentley age bracket, her body was still a top-of-the-line Maybach, and her personality was as playful and mischievous as a young girl's. This was probably because she became financially independent and has been a wealthy stay-at-home wife ever since. I heard she made a lot of money over a decade ago, and her husband was also an elite businessman. He took a sum of money, saw a business opportunity, and abandoned his lovely young wife to go invest in Africa. He could easily make a few $100 million a year, so Auntie Xing just stopped bothering to manage her own finances. She gave her husband control over all the family's finances. Who would have thought that today? After one phone call, her whole world would come crashing down. I don't know what was said on the other end, but Auntie Xing's face instantly turned deathly pale. Tears streamed down her face as she cursed her husband, Zhou Rongguo, calling him a son of a bitch. Then, she angrily threw her phone and collapsed on the table, sobbing her heart out. She was a picture of tear-stained beauty. It took me several seconds to process what was happening. I rushed over to hold her and comfort her. Auntie Xing, what's wrong? The normally playful, charming, and lovely auntie now seemed like she was made of a juicy peach, completely drenched in tears. After a long while, she finally calmed down and sat up. She told me what happened. And my god, it turns out Zhou Rongguo's factory in Africa was caught in a war, got looted, and he ended up deep in debt. But that guy, instead of trying to fix it, spent the last month back in the country frantically scamming for money. He took out over 50 million in loans in Auntie's name and even secretly mortgaged their house and cars. Finally, he ran off with a few of his local mistresses. The creditors couldn't reach him, so they came looking for her. The phone still showed a final notice from the bank. If she didn't pay the 10 million in overdue funds, they would come to seal the villa at 8 tomorrow morning. Just then, Auntie Xing seemed to remember something and reached for her phone to curse him out. You bastard, don't you let me find you, or I'll kill you. But she used too much force, and lunged straight into my arms. I quickly held her steady and tried to calm her down. Auntie, calm down. The bill is from 6 months ago. That means he planned this a long time ago. Calling the police is useless. They're going to seize the house tomorrow. The most urgent thing right now is to sort out the debts. After hearing that, her face filled with even more despair. It was like her soul had been ripped out of her body. Half an hour later, we had searched the entire house. The property deeds and car titles were long gone, obviously used as collateral. Her dozen or so bank cards were all empty, and Auntie Xing's personal debt amounted to over 57 million, 20 million of which was due within a week. She collapsed onto the sofa. The sense of brokenness around her was just heartbreaking. I couldn't bear it. I took out the more than 200,000 I'd saved up over the years. Auntie, this is the money I earned from my basketball sponsorships. Take it for now to deal with the emergency. We'll figure out the rest. Suddenly, an ethereal voice echoed in my mind. Ding! Host's selfless generosity detected. Good deed a day system is binding. For every good deed the host performs, you will receive an unexpected reward. Please continue to do good deeds daily. I paused for a moment, and then it hit me. My cheat system had arrived. Though, the name sounded a bit strange. I glanced at Auntie Xing Yishan, a smile creeping onto my face. Little Feng, Auntie Xing said, looking at the card and my handsome face. Moved to tears, she threw herself into my arms and hugged me tightly. It's all my fault I've dragged my dear little Feng into this mess. I still hadn't recovered from the shock of the system, and my nose was filled with her perfume. I took a deep breath, forced myself to remain calm, and patted her back comfortingly. Don't say that. You're my mom's best friend, which makes you my family. It's just tens of millions. We'll pay it back slowly. If one day isn't enough, we'll take a month. If a month isn't enough, we'll take 10 or 20 years. She laughed through her tears. Looking up, she said, you're still only 18. Your auntie is already old. Influenced by my emotions, the light returned to her eyes. Okay, I'll listen to little Feng. We'll pay it back slowly. She stood on her tiptoes. Her warm lips brushed past my ear. Auntie is going to sell her bags and jewelry first. With that, she ran upstairs. Just then, a golden light flashed before my eyes. A system notification appeared. Ding! Detected host's benevolent gift. Reward. Eye of perspective. I was stunned. The scene before me changed in an instant. It was as if all obstacles had vanished. Looking through the floor, I could see the wine cellar below perfectly clearly. On a whim, I looked up to find Auntie. What I saw first were terrifying blood vessels, muscles, and white bones. It scared the hell out of me. I cursed under my breath. What's the use of giving me this chance if I can't even handle it? I quickly adjusted, after slowly getting used to it. I could see her fair skin through her yoga clothes, and even noticed the vivid butterfly birthmark at the small of her back. Still staring? Get a grip. I quickly looked away, afraid I would lose control. After fumbling around a bit, I discovered that I could turn it on and off by focusing my eyes. I could look however I wanted, whenever I wanted. Excited, I scanned the entire villa. While I was at it, I checked for any hidden cameras. Suddenly, I noticed something was off behind a famous painting on the wall. I took the painting down and smashed my fist through the seemingly normal wall. There was a small wooden box hidden in a secret compartment inside. I opened it and saw 12 gold bars, lined up neatly and gleaming brightly. He really hid this deep. If it weren't for the eye of perspective, these gold bars probably would have never seen the light of day. I did a quick estimate. At the current price of gold, it's probably worth about 8 million. It must be the secret stash that scumbag hid. He must have left it behind because he couldn't get it out of the country. Just as I was wondering whether I should tell Auntie, I looked up with my ability and saw Auntie on her tiptoes, reaching for a jewelry box on the top shelf of the wardrobe. That angle was a full panoramic view. I took a deep breath, grabbed the box of gold bars and rushed upstairs. In the walk-in closet, Auntie was sitting on the floor, staring worriedly at a pile of designer bags and jewelry. I squatted down and handed the box to her. Auntie, look what I found. She opened it, and her eyes went wide as saucers, her voice trembling. Where did this come from? Xiaofeng, did you rob a bank? I quickly shook my head. No, I found it in a hidden compartment in the study wall. It was hidden pretty deep. Her brow furrowed, and she grabbed me by the ear. Hidden compartment in the study? How come I didn't know about it? Are you and that bastard hiding things from me? I yelped in pain. Ow, please, Auntie, I swear it has nothing to do with him. I just found it by chance. Would you believe me if I said I have X-ray vision? She narrowed her eyes. She gave a wicked smile. Well, Xiaofeng's all grown up and knows how to tease his auntie now. You have X-ray vision? Does that mean you've been spying on your auntie every day? Alright then, tell me what color I'm wearing today. She then knelt down in front of me provocatively. I threw my hands up helplessly. I guess no one believes the truth. I brazenly looked her over while trying to come up with an excuse. What are you talking about? Of course I think about a woman as charming as you every day. I just had a feeling something must have been left behind in the study, so I took a look. I didn't expect to actually find anything. She blushed a little. She cleared her throat to hide her fluster. It was that simple? Hearing this, her eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. She threw her arms around my head. That's good. My Xiaofeng is the best. You can't go learning bad things. Also what you said just now. About thinking of me every night before you sleep, what did you mean by that? Is it some kind of trick to fall asleep faster? I was being smothered and could barely breathe. I said in a muffled voice, Auntie, I can't breathe. She awkwardly let go. To change the subject, she picked up a gold bar and slammed it against the wall, cursing through gritted teeth. Buying things for his mistresses, left and right. But he has to hide away money for himself. That bastard. Don't let me find you. Seeing her trembling with rage, I quickly looked away. I felt a little dizzy. After she calmed down, we did the math. The gold bars and jewelry were worth over 10 million. It wasn't enough to pay off the debt, but it gave us some breathing room. After we finished, Auntie wiped her sweat. I'm all sticky after all that. I'm going to take a bath. You can amuse yourself. There are some of my used stockings and high heels in the closet. Don't you go doing anything naughty with them. And don't go secretly giving yourself a little reward, either, you hear? After saying that, she walked towards the bathroom, swaying her hips in her high heels, muttering to herself. This 10 million or so isn't enough. I'll have to borrow some emergency cash from my rich girlfriends later. If it really comes down to it, maybe I'll just have Xiaofeng sell his good looks. He is so handsome, after all. That bunch of girls loves his type. Besides, his mom forbids him from dating. Something that's all physical with no strings attached that shouldn't count as breaking the rules, right? It's worth a try. After busying about for a good while, Xing Yishan rubbed her temples, looking completely exhausted. She felt sweaty all over, a sticky and uncomfortable feeling. After tucking a stray strand of hair behind her ear, she said to me teasingly, Oh, little Feng, after all that commotion, Auntie is all sweaty and sticky. It's so uncomfortable. I need to go take a bath. You just play by yourself for a bit, okay? There are stockings in Auntie's closet. They've all been worn, so you'd better not go messing with them. With that, she stood up and swayed her hips as she walked towards the bathroom. Watching her delicate, fair feet step over the gold bars, I heard her mutter to herself. This is just over 10 million. It's not nearly enough. I'll have to find some rich, beautiful women later and borrow some cash for this emergency. If that doesn't work, I'll just have little Feng sell his looks. After all, my little Feng is so handsome. Handsome, 185 tall university student charging them 100,000 a session shouldn't be too much, right? Those ladies have been lusting after a guy like little Feng for ages. But no falling in love allowed. Just selling his body, not his heart. That doesn't count as romance, right? That way, I can say I've done my part. It's worth a try. It was as if she said it just for me to hear, turning back every few steps to wink at me. She was totally having fun at my expense. Her red lips parted in a smile she couldn't suppress. If it weren't for Auntie Xing's actual age, just going by her looks and the things she says. Who the hell would believe she's an old? It makes me laugh thinking about how my mom was so worried I'd mess around at school and make her a grandma too soon. That she sent her own best friend to keep an eye on me. Mom seems a bit confused about who the little bunny is and who the big bad wolf is. After all, during this past month together, in front of Xing Yishan, I've been as pure as a blank sheet of paper. Now that my worries are gone, Xing Yishan's mood seems to have returned to her usual quirky, optimistic self. I could hear water running in the bathroom. She'd even started humming a little tune while soaking in the tub. I sat there happily, even though I couldn't see anything. You could say I was enjoying the modern, auditory version of a beauty emerging from the bath feast. But just then, the system's ethereal voice echoed in my mind. Ding! Host's benevolent gift of a gold bar has been detected. Reward. Physique enhancement. You can get rewarded for that? As the system's voice faded, I could clearly feel my body growing stronger. It was like the muscles all over my body were being reshaped, becoming harder and more defined. But what made me happiest was that, it seemed to have gotten an upgrade too. I walked over to the walk-in closet. My muscles looked like they'd grown a whole size. I stood in front of the mirror and started admiring myself. Tisk, tisk. I was even starting to fall for myself. Under the dim light, I looked like a classical Greek sculpture. My whole body exuding a chiseled beauty and endless charm. I mean, my body was already perfect before. Good enough for a 90 out of 100. But now, it's easily over 100. I'm practically a walking god. Just then, the bathroom door opened a crack. Xing Yishan peeked out, wrapped in a bath towel, her wet hair draped casually over her shoulders. Her fair skin, flushed a faint pink, smelled sweet from her bath. It looked like she'd forgotten to grab a change of clothes and was cautiously poking her head out. She must have been checking to see if I'd left suddenly. Her gaze fell upon the scene in the walk-in closet. At that moment, I had my back to her, the lines of my back muscles smooth and powerful. As I kept posing, my muscles tensed and bulged as if carved by a master. It was a vision of aesthetic power. I could feel it. My own aura had changed, giving off some serious daddy vibes. Full-on daddy energy. Through the reflection in the mirror, I saw Xing Yishan's gaze freeze, her eyes instantly widening. They were filled with shock and disbelief. Her slightly parted, cherry red lips were now agape in astonishment. A glistening thread of saliva trickled from the corner of her mouth. She couldn't help but be captivated. Then, a flash of panic crossed her eyes. A blush quickly spread across her face, from her ears all the way to her cheeks. Almost instinctively, she subconsciously started to speak. Diahem, Xiao Feng, what are you? But her voice seemed to get caught in her throat, coming out soft and trembling. Hearing her, I turned around and asked, pretending like nothing was wrong. Auntie, you all done? Xing Yishan's pupils quaked. The look in her eyes clearly said, oh my god, is he even human? And not yet. After quickly spitting out the words, Xing Yishan slammed the bathroom door shut. Thump, thump, thump. Even through the door, I could almost hear her pressed up against the glass, gasping for air. Her heart must have started pounding out of control. I imagined that if she closed her eyes, her mind would be filled with nothing but images of my body. Vaguely, I heard a faint mumble from inside. Little Xiao Feng has really grown up. From now on, I should call him Big Feng. No. Xing Yishan, what are you thinking? I could hear her frustrated sighs and the sound of splashing water from the bathroom. I can only imagine the whirlwind of thoughts going through her mind right now. I'm her best friend's son. She's my elder, even though we're not related by blood. If something really happened, my mom would absolutely kill her. How could she face my mom then? Would we just call each other what we want? You call my mom your bestie. And I call you my wife? I glanced at the closed bathroom door and the commotion inside. I subconsciously glanced down at myself. But after a moment's hesitation, I decided against it. After all, the time isn't quite right yet. Even though the stars, the place, and the people are all aligned. Xing Yishan is in an irrational state right now. If I wait for her to come to her senses, the relationship between us would definitely hit rock bottom. The loss would far outweigh the gain. I want Auntie Xing's heart, not just her body. Besides, once you have her heart, won't everything else follow? There's no rush. Anyway, this kind of thing is like a coiled spring. The more you suppress it, the more powerfully it bounces back. What should have been a 30-minute shower, Xing Yishan somehow stretched into an hour and a half. I guess she spent that last hour trying to compose herself, but it doesn't seem to have worked very well. Listening to her occasional frustrated screams from inside, it was clear that the more she tried to forget that scene, the more impossible it was to forget. She might have even talked herself into it. Finally, the bathroom door opened. Xing Yishan took a deep breath. It seemed she had sat up from the tub after soaking for too long. It was a bit tiring, and her whole body felt weak. she'd probably come to a decision. What's meant to happen, will happen. You can't run from it forever. It's best to just let nature take its course. She dried herself off, wrapped up in a bathrobe, and walked out. A little while later, she came downstairs. She had changed into a well-tailored, hip-hugging knit dress. Perfectly showcased her curvy figure, giving her an air of sophisticated charm. After putting on a pair of black stockings, she came downstairs in a pair of sexy, red-soled high heels. I was in the living room, bored and scrolling through my phone, when I saw Xing Yishan coming downstairs, her face completely flushed. I played dumb and asked, Auntie Xing, why is your face so red? Do you have a fever? Xing Yishan lowered her head slightly. Her eyes darted around, completely avoiding mine. The ventilation in the bathroom is broken. Yeah, that's it, it's broken. It was scorching in there. I didn't call her out on her flimsy excuse. After all, her every move was right under my nose. This was also the first time I'd seen such a feminine side of her. Seeing Auntie Xing so shy and adorable, it really felt like I'd finally turned the tables. I bet in Auntie Xing's eyes now, I'm finally not just Little Feng anymore. Oh, right, Little Feng, do you have class today? I have to run an errand and was hoping you'd come with me. Xing Yishan's voice was soft and a little shaky. Nope, no classes, Auntie Xing. Besides, you've already given me my reward. I'm all yours to command. Go on, what is it? A reward? What kind of reward? Xing Yishan froze for a moment, then she noticed my gaze had fallen on her high heels. Suddenly remembering how she'd told me not to rummage through her wardrobe, she couldn't help but scoff. Her pretty face flushed crimson. HMPH, you little devil. You've gotten so naughty. You really don't think they stink? They're not stinky at all. They have Auntie Xing's wonderful scent on them. It smells so good, huh? Xiao Feng, you've really grown up. She coughed twice, her eyes flustered. Her face, flushed bright red, made her look even more stunning. Ahem, Auntie knows you're not a little kid anymore, of course. It's perfectly normal to be curious about certain things. But, those are dirty. Auntie was just teasing you a moment ago. How could you take it so seriously? Besides, I understand being your age. I went through it too. You just need to find a girlfriend. She suddenly thought of something. Her expression stiffened. No, that won't work. Your mom won't let you have a girlfriend. But if you don't get a girlfriend, arg, your mom must really be losing it. This is a huge problem. I have to have a good talk with her about this someday. How could she forbid you from having a girlfriend? That's enough to mess a guy up. No, absolutely not. Your mom must be going through early menopause to be this muddled. It was as if she was caught in a brainstorm. Xing Yishan kept muttering to herself, asking and answering her own questions. Shaking her head one moment and frowning the next, she left me completely dumbfounded. Is this the logic of a woman with a fever? It feels like her CPU has completely short-circuited. Her brain seemed about to fry. However, after a few more flirtatious exchanges, Xing Yishan gradually loosened up, resuming her usual dominant role. Phew, anyway, absolutely not in the future. It's too dirty. If you really need it, just tell Auntie. Auntie will figure something out for you. Xing Yishan took a deep breath. After brainstorming for a long while, she finally blushed and softly offered this solution. Huh? I was stunned. There's a way to figure that out? It seems Auntie Xing's mindset has undergone a subtle change. Ahem, what do you mean, huh? Anyway, that's how it is. Let's drop it. Right now, Auntie is going to meet a real beauty, who's also a rich lady. I'm going to borrow some money from her. What do you think? Can I bring my little Feng along to make a good impression? Just to make a good impression? I raised an eyebrow. Auntie Xing, weren't you the one who said I should sell my looks? Something about 100,000 for one night? How dare you? Xing Yishan's eyes widened instantly. A slender, jade-like finger pointed right at my nose. If you dare do it behind my back. Behind my back? I'll definitely tell your mom and have her deal with you. Yes. I nodded with a mischievous smile. I get it. As long as it's not behind Auntie Xing's back, it's fine. It's okay, Auntie Xing can join in too. I'm still young. I can handle it. Ha! Xing Yishan tilted her head, her little fists already clenched. She slowly got up and came over to me. She looked down at me, then kicked off one of her high heels. Her perfect foot pressed down on me. Chu Liufeng, you've gotten bold, haven't you? Daring to tease your auntie, huh? Believe it or not, I'll tell your mom right now. I'll tell her that her own son is being a little disrespectful to her best friend. I looked at the perfect foot pressing on my chest. After taking a deep breath, I slowly raised both my hands. Raising my hands wasn't to surrender, but to say, Auntie Xing, you need more practice. This doesn't hurt at all. Who's scared? Half an hour later, a pink Bentley drove out of the villa, heading straight for a high-end restaurant with a beautiful environment and quiet atmosphere. A rich lady was already waiting there. After we arrived at a very private and quiet booth, I saw the rich lady herself. She wasn't the fat, pot-bellied type one had imagined. A heavily made-up, old, and ugly woman. Instead, she was a rather slender, rich lady. Her pretty face was flushed, making her look incredibly gorgeous. Although she was only about 162 centimeters tall and her figure wasn't as heavenly as Xing Yishan's, she was still filled with a mature aura. Most importantly, she was slender but incredibly well endowed. It was quite astonishing. She had the standard, beautiful face of a charming young wife. Although her style was a bit different from Auntie Xing's, the beauty of a mature woman made my heart tremble. However, she seemed a bit drunk. There were a few empty bottles in front of her, and her face was flushed from the alcohol. Xiao Feng, let me introduce you. This is Auntie Li Mengxi. Her family owns over a dozen houses. They specialize in collecting rent. Over a dozen of them? Not an apartment, a whole building with 7 floors. She owns several buildings near Sha University? I blinked. More than 10 buildings collecting rent, holy cow. This is a bona fide rich lady. Wow. As expected, the circles of the rich are filled with other rich people. Auntie Li. Hello, I'm Chu Liufeng. Just call me Xiao Feng. Li Mengxi was holding a wine glass. Her eyes hazy from the drink. But the moment she first saw me, her eyes instantly lit up, as if she had discovered a priceless treasure. She immediately stood up and staggered around me. Her high heels made a crisp sound on the floor, each step carrying a perfect rhythm. As she walked, she looked me up and down, back and forth, the admiration in her eyes completely unconcealed, as if she were appraising a fine work of art. Xiao Feng, you're so handsome. Wow, these muscles, this body. It's so good, Li Mengxi said, her eyes full of pleasant surprise. As she spoke, she put down her wine glass and grabbed Xing Yishan's delicate hand, teasing. Yee, my darling, I didn't realize you've been eating so well lately. This handsome young man is just so charming. His muscles are fantastic. I bet he's great in bed. Are you wearing Xiao Feng out every night? Can you still handle it? If it's too much for you, I can help out. Even if Xing Yishan had entertained such thoughts, hearing them said so bluntly made her blush, but she knew her rich friends well. Having achieved financial freedom early on, they often encountered many young people who didn't want to work hard. Plus, after a few drinks, they tended to be quite open about these things. But they weren't just anyone, their standards were extremely high. If they met an average young man who didn't want to work hard, their words could be truly vicious. Things like, you're ugly, but you sure dream big. Caustic remarks like only trash wouldn't want to work hard would just roll off their tongues. Very few could ever catch their eye. After all, in this day and age, looks are everything. But now, this incredibly picky Li Mengxi was looking at me with eyes so full of desire they could almost drip water. She was also being uncharacteristically forward. This, however, suddenly filled Xing Yishan's heart with a strange sense of pride. He's handsome, right? Jealous, aren't you? HMPH, you can't have him even if you want him. What are you talking about, wearing him out? This is my best friend's biological son. Before she could finish, Li Mengxi's eyes widened, as if she were seeing a whole new person. Her best friend's son? No way. Yee, my darling, you always seem so reserved. I didn't think you had that kind of fetish. I can't believe you're into something so thrilling. No, I want to try this too. Yee, my dear Yee. We're good friends too, aren't we? As she spoke, she suddenly leaned toward me as if dizzy. Hey, handsome, I'm suddenly feeling a bit dizzy. Could you please help me to the restroom? Get a hold of yourself. It's one thing for us to joke around all the time. He's still a college student, he's just living with me. A college student? Li Mengxi's eyes lit up. Ah, college life is the best. I really miss my days as a student. Xing Yishan quickly pulled her back to her seat. Stop talking nonsense. Xiao Feng and I don't have the kind of relationship you're thinking of. I really came to see you about something important. But Li Mengxi just picked up her wine glass and came right over to sit next to me. She leaned against me intimately, giggling foolishly. No relationship? That's even better. Then I won't feel guilty at all. I was actually feeling a little bad about stealing your man. I think Li Mengxi was completely wasted. Isn't this a bit too forward? As Li Mengxi leaned in, she slipped off her Chanel-style jacket. But I'll admit, this rich woman really takes care of herself. She smells amazing. Every move she made carried a unique, elegant fragrance. It was really nice. Hey handsome, what's your deal? Living with a hottie like her, and you can actually keep your hands to yourself? Don't tell me you're all talk and no action. It'd be such a shame if you're just for show. I'm useless? Just for show? I couldn't help but laugh out of frustration. I really wanted to show this Li Mengxi what I was capable of right then and there. I'll teach you a lesson you won't forget. Li Mengxi, if you flirt with my Xiao Feng again, believe me, I'll tear your mouth off. Watching Xing Yishan grit her teeth, looking like she was about to snap and charge over, Li Mengxi simply stuck out her tongue. She forced herself to pull it together and act a little more serious. Which mouth do you want to tear off? Tearing is so vulgar. I think you should just kiss my mouth apart instead. Come on, give me a kiss. My dear Yee baby. As she spoke, she puckered her lips and leaned towards her. I could tell Xing Yishan had a real urge to slap this thirsty drunk, but she also knew that Li Mengxi was just messing around. Deep down, she didn't mean any harm. Seeing the exasperated look on Xing Yishan's face, Li Mengxi suddenly beamed like a victorious general. She raised her bottle, made a V sign, and smirked. HMPH, cat got your tongue? You already called him your Xiao Feng, and you still claim you're not together? You can't fool me. But I don't blame you. I get it. Your husband's abroad, and then you meet a handsome young guy like this. Anyone in your shoes would be tempted. It's only human. Don't worry, my lips are sealed. Both pairs. Suddenly, Li Mengxi kicked off her red-soled high heels. Her two slender legs curled up on the booth seat as she turned sideways to look at me. That's when I first noticed that her proportions were unbelievably good. Even though she was only about 162 centimeters tall, her legs were slim and long. Her skin was very pale, and with every little expression, she was captivatingly charming. She moved closer to me. Her slender fingers lifted my chin, and she slurred. Right, handsome? Tell me, is my Yi baby wild or what? I've known her for years. And I'm telling you, this is the first time I've ever seen her bring a guy around. I always thought Yi was frigid. Ah, Li Mengxi. Xing Yishan couldn't take it anymore, screaming as she charged over. The two women quickly got into a tangle, wrestling with each other. Xing Yishan couldn't take it anymore. She charged over. The two women quickly got into a tangle, wrestling with each other. I couldn't help but recall what the Grandmaster once said, that his favorite thing to watch was women fighting. And this scene before me was indeed quite a steamy sight. After a round of playful fighting, Li Mengxi quickly fell to her knees, begging for mercy. Alright, Yi my darling. I was wrong. Spare me. She wiped the sweat from her brow, then suddenly turned to look at me seriously. Turning to ask Xing Yishan, you two. Are you really not together? Xing Yishan was panting. From the wrestling, a fine layer of sweat had beaded on her cheeks. Nope. Li Mengxi's eyes instantly lit up. Well, since you're not keeping this handsome young man for yourself, don't blame me for stealing him away, Tilda. She turned around, her eyes burning as she stared at me. Hey, handsome, want to take a shortcut in life? Want to cut 20 years off your struggle? Want to reach the pinnacle of your life? You think my legs are pretty? Oh my, what's happened to my black stockings? It's all that darling Yi's fault. She completely tore them, but I have a new pair in my purse. Could I trouble you, handsome, to help me put them on? Young people these days really have a thing for beautiful legs in black stockings. Come on, have a touch. Don't be shy now, be a little bolder. Auntie will let you bully me however you want. Don't you like that? Auntie also has shiny ones, gradient ones, thick pantyhose, and fishnets. Which kind do you like? Auntie can wear any of them for you. With my back against the wall, I raised my hands with nowhere to run. I made a gesture of surrender, my gaze on Xing Yishan. I tried my best to keep it as innocent as a little white rabbit, although an uncontrollable wave of excitement was indeed surging within me. This wealthy woman was certainly too forward with her words, but I also knew very well that if I showed even a hint of interest right now, Auntie Xing would probably be extremely disappointed in me. A rich woman might be beautiful, but Auntie Xing is far more alluring. For the sake of a better tomorrow, I'll endure it. Seeing Li Mengxi clinging to me like an octopus, Xing Yishan finally snapped with a cold face. Get your stinky feet down. You're going to make him pass out from the smell. HMPH, stinky? Who said they're stinky? I take such good care of them. Look how fair and tender they are. I don't know how many people would kill for a taste. Li Mengxi laughed brazenly. She pulled off her thigh-high stockings, revealing a pair of fair, smooth thighs. Just these, for some people. They're enough to help them scarf down 3 bowls of rice. Xing Yishan put a hand to her forehead. I could tell she definitely thought bringing me here was a complete mistake. It was like a lamb entering a tiger's den. This circle of rich women is simply too ravenous. That's not okay either. Put her down for me, Xing Yishan said resignedly as she helped Li Mengxi sit up straight. After smoothing out the short skirt that had ridden up, she finally sat down with a look of helplessness. She muttered, this drunk is getting worked up again. Li Mengxi suddenly gave a sly, silly giggle. Look at that expression in your eyes. And you still say nothing's going on? Who'd believe that? Alright, I'll stop teasing your little boyfriend. Hey handsome, pour Auntie a drink. I did as she asked, picked up the bottle, and poured Li Mengxi a full glass. She took it and had a sip. She then lightly bit her red lip and gave me a seductive look. Wine poured by a handsome guy just tastes better. Hiccup, I couldn't help but think to myself. As expected of a mature beauty, every little expression she made was incredibly charming. Li Mengxi was slumped over the table, her head bobbing. She was a little dizzy, and her words started to become slurred. So, spit it out, Yi darling. What's the emergency that you suddenly came looking for me today? Need to borrow money? Ha, Li Mengxi's eyes widened. Yi baby, you're actually short on cash? Alright, how much? Just name your price, Yi baby, Li Mengxi said confidently. She was already preparing to pull out her phone for the transfer, but Xing Yishan seemed to hesitate. 100 million. How much? 100 million? Li Mengxi immediately shrank back. Her soft shoulder deliberately nudged my arm. Then you'd better ask your little boyfriend for it. He has several 100 million, you know. Yishan instantly rolled her eyes. But I noticed she no longer rejected the little boyfriend title and couldn't be bothered to correct it. It was better to let the misunderstanding continue anyway. Otherwise, I was afraid this ravenous woman would try to eat me alive right here and now. So how much can you lend me now? I'm short on cash and need it urgently. There was a hint of anxiety and helplessness in Auntie Xing's tone. Li Mengxi shook her head. Her eyes hazy from the alcohol. If you needed 100 million, you should have told me earlier. I might have had it then. But right now, I definitely don't have that much however. If you only need a few million, I can transfer it to you right now. Human nature always tends to compromise and meet in the middle, a principle Xing Yishan clearly understood. Although she didn't want to do this, she was in desperate need of money. How about 10 million? Do you have 10 million? I'll pay you back over 3 years. You can set the interest. Xing Yishan gritted her teeth. Li Mengxi looked puzzled. What are you trying to do? Are you that bored from being a rich housewife? Decided to find something to do to pass the time? Xing Yishan sighed, shaking her head without saying anything. After all, with the situation at home, she probably wouldn't be able to borrow a single cent if she told the truth. Besides, she had nothing left for collateral. Seeing this, Li Mengxi didn't press her for details. She was about to pass out in my arms. Darling, I'm not making excuses. It's just that things are really tight for me lately. I'm negotiating a big project. Hearing this, Xing Yishan's heart sank. So you still have money? It's only 10 million. I definitely still have it. But, my dear Yi, how about you lend me your handsome little boyfriend to play with for a couple of days? I really like him. Sleeping in his arms feels as warm and cozy as being held by a daddy. It feels so safe. I've never felt like this before. Hearing this, I felt the person in my arms melt like a puddle. And across from us, Xing Yishan's expression instantly turned cold. If you're going to talk like that, Mengxi, then we can't even be sisters anymore. She's short on money, but not so desperate that she'd have me, her junior, sell my body to pay off her debts. Li Mengxi was still leaning on my chest, looking at Xing Yishan's cold expression. She paused for a moment, then burst out laughing with a PFFT. Alright, I was just kidding. Look at how tense you are. I was just joking. I wouldn't really take your little boyfriend away. Li Mengxi sat up straight. Her eyes seemed a bit clearer. Yi, my dear baby. We've been friends for so many years. You're in trouble, so I certainly can't just ignore it. 10 million it is. I'll go back and prepare it. I'll transfer the money to you in a couple of days. You don't want to say what the money is for, so I won't ask. Anyway, take your time. If you're really at your wit's end, just come find me. I don't have much of anything else. We have plenty of houses, you can live wherever you want. Xing Yishan was clearly moved and nodded. But that feeling didn't last 3 seconds before her expression instantly froze. Because Li Mengxi had suddenly reverted to her drunken, infatuated expression, giggling foolishly as she snuggled and wriggled in my arms. But I'm going to collect some interest first. You can't tell me off anymore, okay? Hey, handsome, do you think Auntie is pretty? Are Auntie's legs slender? Want to touch them? Your body is really amazing. I held up my hands innocently. I looked at Xing Yishan. Auntie Xing, I used my eyes to say, I swear, I didn't do anything. I'm the passive one here. Xing Yishan looked at me. A flash of guilt crossed her eyes. I could pretty much read her meaning. Xiao Feng, Auntie Xing has wronged you. I'll make it up to you later. For now, just bear with it. After all, Li Mengxi had been such a huge help, so she couldn't really say anything. It's just that, I saw Auntie Xing turn her face away, pouting, and she seemed to feel a bit of jealousy and discomfort. Alright, that's enough snuggling, you infatuated girl. Hey, hee, I can never get enough. The handsome boy smells so good. Li Mengxi rubbed against me excitedly like a child. I couldn't help but feel a bit helpless. Before long, soft snoring sounds started. She had actually fallen asleep against my neck. A faint smile hung on the corner of her lips. Suddenly, she made a few eating sounds in her sleep. Daddy, I miss you so much. I tried to lift her off me. But then she hooked her arm around my neck, clinging to me tightly like a koala bear. Her two fair, delicate legs wrapped tightly around my waist. Don't, Daddy, don't leave me. My scalp went numb. Auntie Xing, this is just too weird. And this position, this feeling if Xing Yishan wasn't here. This foolish woman. Xing Yishan's elegant brows furrowed slightly as she explained to me about Li Mengxi's lack of love and her family situation. She said Mengxi tends to lose her composure when she's drunk, and all that daddy or master stuff is just for show. She told me not to take it seriously. Just carry her. We'll take her home. It's not right for her to sleep here. Xing Yishan shook her head helplessly, picking up the red-soled high heels and torn black stockings from the floor, and walked out of the private room. I followed close behind, carrying the petite Li Mengxi. After my physique was enhanced, I could wrap one hand around her slender waist. She exuded a refreshing, delicate fragrance. Even after drinking so much, she didn't smell bad. In fact, I found it a little intoxicating. Auntie Xing, is Mengxi always this wild? I asked out of the blue. While driving the Bentley, Xing Yishan casually explained that Li Mengxi isn't usually like this. She only goes wild under certain circumstances or when she's drunk. She also warned me that if Mengxi looked like she was going to throw up, I absolutely shouldn't let her do it on me. I looked down at Li Mengxi, her head buried motionlessly in my chest. Treating me like a kid, huh? Are you sure she's not thinking of me as something else? And also, is she really asleep? My fingers twitched slightly. I nodded with a slightly strange expression. Yeah, I know. Auntie Xing, you just focus on driving. During the ride, Li Mengxi wasn't sleeping very peacefully. Her whole body was pressed against mine, swaying with the movement of the car. Rubbing back and forth, her perfect, petite figure was curled up in my arms. Her skin was smooth and felt incredible to the touch. I certainly got to enjoy holding her. Half an hour later, the Bentley pulled up in front of a detached villa. Another villa, huh? I couldn't help but sigh. Auntie Xing, is a huge mansion now the standard for everyone in your circle of rich ladies? Hey, did you forget what Mengxi does for a living? She's a landlady. Xing Yishan led the way, complaining to me about Li Mengxi's outrageously lavish lifestyle, owning countless properties just to collect rent. Once inside the villa, I found that although it was luxuriously furnished, it felt very cold. Like a model home, it completely lacked the warm, cozy, and domestic vibe of Xing Yishan's place. Xing Yishan told me that Li Mengxi is afraid of repeating past mistakes, so she simply doesn't get married. We gently placed Li Mengxi on the large, soft bed. You little drunkard, we're leaving now. Call me if anything happens, okay? Xing Yishan patted her smooth, flushed cheeks. I took one last look at Li Mengxi lying on the bed, then left the villa with Xing Yishan. After the pink Bentley sped away, Li Mengxi, in the villa's bedroom, had already woken up at some point. She was leaning against the window, her eyes gazing intently at the Bentley's path until it gradually disappeared from sight. Only after she could no longer see it did she seem to snap back to her senses. As if all the strength had been drained from her body, she slowly drew the curtains. Powerlessly, I leaned back against the wall, sliding slowly down its surface. My legs buckled, and I collapsed onto the floor. I hugged my pale knees tightly, as if it was the only way to give myself a shred of security, burying my head deep inside my arms. I curled my entire body into a ball. Why did this happen? Li Mengxi's cheeks burned hot, as if seared by fire. Her heart was filled with a mix of shyness and disbelief, because just now, she had actually felt in this man's comforting presence a sense of peace she had never known before, even drifting into a deep sleep. She even had a brief, fantastical dream. In the dream, her father's face, which was once a blur, slowly morphed into the face of this strange man she had only met for the first time today. In the quiet, dim bedroom, a sound was heard. Chu Liufeng. Li Mengxi murmured the name, her eyes slowly closing. Her long, curled eyelashes trembled lightly, and her red lips parted slightly, letting out a whisper as faint as a mosquito's buzz. Feng, what a beautiful name. In the Bentley, Auntie Xing was originally focused on driving. Suddenly, I felt her peripheral vision dart towards me, followed by her eyes locking onto the side of my face. Her brow instantly furrowed. Auntie Xing, what's wrong? I was sharp enough to notice this subtle change, but Auntie Xing only frowned slightly. Saying nothing, the car drove all the way to the lakeside. The two of us got out, and a gentle, cool breeze washed over us. But I noticed Auntie Xing's gaze was fixed firmly on my neck. Then it hit me. My neck was covered in lipstick marks, turning the whole area red. She didn't even spare my chin. This wasn't kissing. This was full-on gnawing. Needless to say, this was undoubtedly the masterpiece of that drunkard, Li Mengxi. That infatuated girl completely took advantage of me. As I watched, I was shocked to find that Auntie Xing's eyes were slowly turning red. 2 streams of clear tears, like pearls from a broken string, rolled down her cheeks. Her voice, choked with sobs, was filled with helplessness and vulnerability. Xiaofeng, it's all Auntie's fault. Auntie has failed you. Letting you be wronged like this, I've never really begged anyone in my life. Just thinking about having to face all this, my heart pounds with fear. But I don't know why, as soon as I think of you by my side, I feel like I have someone to lean on. I feel so much more confident. Trembling slightly, she raised a hand to clumsily wipe away her tears. Her face etched with self-reproach. It's all my fault. It's because Auntie is useless for dragging you into this, forcing you to suffer these indignities with me. You were never supposed to endure any of this. It's all Auntie's fault. If I weren't so deep in debt, I wouldn't have had to come here begging, and I wouldn't have let you. Xiaofeng. You must be suffering inside, too, right? Being bullied like this by an old woman a whole generation older than you. You've just been enduring it all for my sake, without a single complaint, haven't you? Wait a minute, I know all these words. But when you put it all together, I get a little confused. What do you mean I was bullied and wronged? Wasn't I the one taking advantage of the situation? How was I wronged in any way? But clearly, Auntie Xing didn't think so. She was still immersed in her own guilt and self-blame. Xiaofeng, Auntie knows. You've always been a very sensible and good kid. It was all for Auntie's sake. That you put up with being bullied by that drunk, Li Mengxi, without making a sound. You must have felt terrible inside, right? No, I don't. I'm not. I was having a blast, okay? Come on, Auntie Xing. Can you please stop making things up in your head? But Auntie Xing continued on her own, saying, if you're feeling upset, just let it all out. Auntie's afraid that if you keep it bottled up, it'll be bad for your health. I scratched my head. I really had no idea what to say. After all, Li Mengxi isn't ugly in the slightest. You could even say she's absolutely stunning. And she's completely my type. There was no loss on my end at all. But looking at Auntie Xing's expression, it seemed that if I didn't vent a little today, she would definitely not be able to get over it. But I really had nothing to complain about. Auntie Xing, don't overthink it. I'm really fine. I held Auntie Xing's shoulders and looked at her steadily. Besides, we're family. Why are you saying all this? You're making us sound like strangers. I'm really okay, Auntie Xing. Stop letting your imagination run wild. Auntie Xing looked at me intently. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. She clearly thought I was just trying to comfort her. After all, in her world, who would possibly like an old woman in her 30s or 40s? Aren't those beautiful 18-year-old girls more desirable? Like delicate flowers, ready to be picked. Their whole bodies radiate youthful energy and charm, an irresistible temptation to any man. Let alone a young guy like me. I saw her swallow hard. It was like she was choked up. Xiao Feng, if it weren't for you today, I really don't know how I would have faced all this. Ha, who would like a woman in her 30s or 40s? Please, a perfectly ripe, high-class model like that is my absolute favorite, okay? I shook my head, trying my best to make my tone sound incredibly gentle. Auntie Xing, please don't say that. I told you I would always be here for you. I am now, and I will be in the future. Auntie Xing was instantly moved, her eyes welling up with tears. Then, she seemed to go through an intense internal struggle and finally looked as if she had made up her mind. A flicker of resolve flashed in her wavering eyes. She mustered up her courage, lifted her head, and looked at my face. Her voice was trembling slightly. Xiao Feng, you absolutely cannot tell your mother about this. And you absolutely cannot let anyone else know. I nodded. Don't worry, I won't let Mom find out. Otherwise, she'd definitely lecture me again. After hesitating for a good while, she cautiously raised her head, looking at me with a timid gaze. Thankfully, I had already composed my expression. There was nothing unusual, except my eyes weren't focused. I was pretending to be deep in thought. Seeing this, she finally let out a visible sigh of relief. Xiao Feng. I'm just going to meet a few friends by myself in a bit. You don't need to come. Auntie Xing's cheeks were crimson, and her voice trembled slightly. She was in an unnatural panic, clearly desperate to escape this mortifying situation. You just go have some fun on your own for a while. Be good and wait for me at home tonight. How does that sound? Okay, alright, it's settled then. I'm leaving now. Her face was completely flushed, and she didn't even wait for my answer. She practically scrambled back into the Bentley and slammed on the gas. And just like that, she was gone. As for why she didn't take me, I guess she was afraid we'd run into another drunk like Li Mengxi. She didn't want to see me get hurt again. Hey, Auntie Xing, I had just come to my senses when I heard her rattle off a bunch of things, and then she just vanished. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I just stared in the direction she'd gone. I shook my head helplessly, but she was long gone. All I could do was shrug and start wandering down the street. Since I didn't have to run errands for Auntie Xing anymore, I started thinking about how I could use my system to make some money. After all, I have X-ray vision. Whether it's buying scratch-off tickets or hitting the card tables, or even stone gambling, I could make a killing. No matter which I chose, making a few tens of millions would be a total piece of cake. But this isn't something I can tell Auntie Xing about. I'll let her try borrowing some money from her circle of rich friends first. When she can't hold on any longer, it won't be too late for me to step in and solve the problem. Plus, I can score some major points with her. It's a win-win no matter how I do it. What's more, my system is a good deed a day system. As long as I do good things, I get lots of benefits.